Hi.
Such good cheese.
Okay, we're gonna get started. Before I go on, traditionally there is an opener at comedy clubs, and we're kind of trying to mimic that. So we are going to have the opening act of Ian Chamberlain. Okay, remember who you're here for. But anyway, without further ado, I forgot his name, but... That's kind of, I'm going to adjust this a second. That's my entire bit, is I'm just going to adjust this for 10 minutes, and then I'm just going to leave. All right, so I'm Ian Chamberlain. I'm like Leah's best friend, doing some stand-up to open for her. We have been friends for about as long as I can remember. The first time we ever hung out, I think we were both 8. And what's really funny about this is the first time we hung out, Leah dropped a 3-pound weight on my head, and it's really funny. I assume that she did. I don't remember it happening, probably because a weight was dropped on my head. But ever since then, I knew that Leah was someone that I could trust. We've had a lot of great adventures since then. We've hung out. We did publicity for the Mad Adventures of Mr. Toad together. That got me into theater. We made a lot of really goofy videos and memes, and none of them got posted because who knows? But continued to do theater since 2020. We've been making videos together, which you can see over there. Well, not right now because they're paused, but if you want to leave the show, watch something worse, or just as bad, actually. You want to see me when I had really, really, really short hair, and I spoke like this, and I didn't know how to be funny yet, then that's in the other room. But it's been great. And now Leah's graduating, and it's gonna be lonely next year. I'm just gonna kind of sit there and just be like, okay. But I'm going very off the cuff. It's finals week, so I don't have a lot of time to prepare an entire stand-up set. But I have some stuff written down in my notes on my phone, which is what I'm using to record this, so I can't look at it. And that's how you know that I'm a smart guy. So, yeah. I'll just try and do as many jokes as I can off the top of my head. There's one that I remember that I wrote. I wrote it a while ago, and it was supposed to be it was supposed to be a really topical joke, but I wrote it so long ago that it's not topical at all anymore, but it's still kind of funny, so I'm gonna tell it. So anyways, so the Big Bang literally just happened. There's literally nothing out there. So then all of a sudden, hydrogen comes up? What's the deal with hydrogen, guy? Absolutely goofy, it's going nowhere. Trust me, in 10 years, in 20 years, in 14.6 billion years, it's not gonna be anywhere. Other jokes. Let me all right. I mean, you liked that joke, so a little notepad that I can write feedback down on. So, just tell that joke again, maybe? Yeah, so I have an old joke. We got awkward. Anyone know any good jokes? Let's do some crowd work. You right there.
Yes.
I bet you don't know any jokes. I bet you have nothing funny to say, right?
We do a quick 20-minute stand-up set.
I guess. I doubt it'll go anywhere. Alright, let's give it up for Mr. Mistopheles. I did it. Hi. I'm Leah. I'm graduating. it's kind of weird. I'm 17 years old, which in Nebraska, you're not an adult until you're 19. So that means that I'm a toddler. I'm rounding a little bit, but that's essentially what it means. The strangest thing is that I kind of look too. I act like I'm 12, and my diagnoses would say that I'm in my late 20s. So that joke went better when I wrote it down on my Google Doc. I wrote like 3 things, and I was like, I'll just wing the rest. So we got 20 minutes to kill, guys. Strap in. I was born in Michigan, which, for those who don't know, that's the one that looks like a mitten. And for those who don't know what a mitten looks like, it's kind of like a hand, but all of the fingers are together. And normally it's made out of yarn. You can put one of them in an oven, but don't do the other one, it will catch on fire. I did that to Ian when he was 8 too. And he doesn't remember that one either. So if you ask Ian, he'll say it didn't happen, but just know that it did, and it's very real. I'm trying to be honest as a comedian. I don't want you to laugh at everything I say. If you laugh at everything a comedian says, that comedian is Rob Schneider. And I don't think we want that. I don't think Rob Schneider wants Rob Schneider anymore. I went to a Catholic elementary school. That was fun. They had to wear uniforms at Catholic school. I didn't like wearing the uniforms. The uniforms were really odd. It was red polo, white polo, navy blue polo. The kicker was the pants. You had your choice of khakis or navy blue khakis. So obviously the best fit was red polo, navy blue khakis. Call that one the Play-Doh Man. The Play-Doh Man. Why? Philosophy. Can you tell I'm riffing? I can. Some other classics, the Jake from State Farm, that was good. Just wearing navy blue and pretending you could blend into the darkness. You couldn't, but it was the coolest thing in a Catholic elementary school, which is already the coolest place to be. Let me tell you, the parties, I wasn't invited to any of them, but from what I heard, they were okay. There was something special you could do at Catholic school. Every other Friday there would be something called a jeans day. And what those were is you gotta wear jeans. You gotta wear jeans and a graphic tee, but no graphic tees with anything inappropriate or fun. The only graphic tees you could really wear were graphic tees that advertised Catholic or a video game that the teachers knew. If they didn't know it, it was satanic. Which is kind of the logic now. So, the logic I follow anyways. Makes scrolling Twitter a lot easier. That was fun. There was a variation of jeans days called Mission Jeans Days. And that was the Catholic school's weird form of tithing I've discovered in my elder years. Because what it was is it was a jeans day, but in order to participate, you had to bring $1 with you. But there was quite the loophole where if you didn't bring the $1, they couldn't ask you to take your pants off. So, I mean, I guess I won. Not only am I wearing jeans, my parents still have $1. Take that one. There was also the box tops donations. Do you remember that?
Yes, I was in charge of them for a while.
You were in charge of them. That's why you were the only one that cared. I still don't know what a box top is. But it was pretty cool. Jesus loved that one. He loves the tops of like fruit snack boxes and one small segment of them. You can still see them, and every now and then I'll see them and think, that was something. One interesting thing happened in Catholic in 3rd grade. You're not gonna believe this, I didn't have a lot of friends. Who could have seen the 17-year-old doing a comedy show at their grad party not having a lot of friends when they were young? But I didn't, and so I got called into the counselor's office. This was very fun. They didn't have a counseling center at the school because I think there was a time when they didn't think it was real. So the place that they counseled was in the school church. So you would get called out of a class, like towards the end of the day, to go sit in the church and color. I gained nothing from it. And the only thing I remember is talking about how I like hot sauce. I'm in therapy now. And it goes the exact same way. So what do you want to talk about today, Leah? So I've been getting into spicy food. And let me tell you, still on Lexapro. I don't like taking medication. It's weird. It's like Smarties, but they taste bad and feel bad. And if you don't take them, you'll feel bad. So like Smarties. I switched to the public school for my middle school years, which is a great time to join because middle school is when like everyone's going into it being like, I'm so grown up now and I'm awesome. And then you go to junior high and that's when you're like, that kid sucked, but now I'm cool. And then high school, you're like, I want to be done. Please get me out of here. I don't care if I'm cool or not. I hate all of you. And I know I'm not cool. You don't have to tell me. Dad. I'm just kidding, my dad's okay. Thanks for laughing, Dad. I was scared about that one. Yeah, middle school was interesting. I didn't know anything, but I thought it was cool that I could wear whatever I wanted to. Because my first day of Catholic school, my mom thought it was the kind of Catholic school where you had to wear dress shoes. So I showed up to a Catholic school in the Jake from State Farm and black dress shoes. I looked like I was going to like a stock convention. I was just missing the suspenders. That was pretty epic. The first thing that the kids said to me at Catholic when I walked in is, "Why are you wearing those shoes?" And my response was, "Hi, I'm Dante." Didn't read tone very well. You guys liking it?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I can't read tone very well. Okay. I'm gonna sit down. You know, guys, I'm taking a stand. Because I'm in orchestra. Carter hated that one. He's asked to leave from that one.
Hey man, I'm a busy guy. It's funny as heck, but I gotta go.
Get out of here. Smooth move, Nate. He moved into a chair. That was smooth. Barely even noticed it. Bet you're glad I called it out. Alright, back to school. When you're in middle school, you think anything is funny. I know that because I think me and my friend in middle school laughed just at the word hamburger for like 3 minutes straight. That 3 minutes, a tornado drill. We were in the showers in the boys' locker rooms looking at each other with tears in our eyes because of the word hamburger. I wish it was still that easy. Can you imagine what my set would be? Underwear. It still works. Cool. I'm gonna audition for SNL now. Oh, alright, well. Not anymore. Jesus. Thanks, guys. Yeah, middle school sucked. I didn't like it that much. It was fine, like, at the time, but then I realized that I hated it. I do remember at one point, though, I did something very clever. I was in the aftershock program, and one time I didn't want to be there, and so instead of just asking to, like, go to the bathroom and take a quick break, I decided, you know what I need right now? A convoluted plot. So the teacher's room that we were in for the aftershock program had a little vial of red food coloring on their teacher card. And so my idea is, what if I go up, write something on the board, sneakily take the red food coloring, spray it on the palm of my hand, and then, I'm bleeding! So I did. A kid came over to me, said they had first aid training, looked at my hand, and then said that I needed to go get it wiped. So much for your first aid training. It was food coloring. There wasn't even a cut. It was just like a droplet. I'm not bleeding, it fell from the ceiling. We have much bigger problems on our hands. I went down to the bathroom and spent 20 minutes trying to wipe it off of my hands because I didn't want to go back in and my hand is just entirely red. Guys, it got worse. Guys, I rubbed it around a little bit. Good news, the cut's gone. Don't ask about it. That was fun. Aftershock was fun. I remember when I realized I didn't want to do it anymore, it was in the 6th grade. And so I went up to the person that ran it and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Can I call my parents? And so I did. They took me home. And then after the phone call, she was like, okay, so you're not going to come down here again and ask to call your parents, right? Yeah. I don't go here anymore. Why would I ask you to call my parents? At 5. I'm not going to be at the school at 5. Hey, can I call my parents? Why are you here? Also, that's so funny to me. What was I supposed to do? If I didn't want to be there, leave? Honestly, probably. I don't think they would have cared. They have other kids to worry about. I will say, Aftershock was kind of fun. That, I believe, is where I met Kieran in the audience tonight. Yeah, my least favorite friend. Well, second. Sorry, you. But yeah, I met them in Aftershock. We did the photography Aftershock, and I remember at one point I made them laugh so hard they fell out of a chair by showing them an edited Pokemon card. The teacher had to check if they were okay, because it looked like they were on the ground crying in a ball. Yeah. Did you have like a cut on your hand or something? That was very fun. There was one day where we got done doing all the photography stuff. And so all of the boys, funny how that worked out, all of the boys got together to make a movie using iMovie. Now, I do that quite regularly now. I do a lot of sketch comedy, like I have to, but at the time, when I was in 5th grade, using iMovie was the coolest thing in the world. I thought that's what they like edited the MCU movies with. That's the only editing software. And now I realize that the MCU movies are just editing, which is very fun. MCU fans in the audience tonight. Yeah, it's awesome. Don't worry, there's a post-credit scene if you sit for 20 minutes after my set. Levi will walk up and go, I'm Squeegis. And like 3 people will lose their minds. We got, let's see. So the movie that we filmed, it was a zombie apocalypse movie. And it was the worst zombie apocalypse movie ever. But, so the way we filmed it, it was me, this group of guys, and we all wanted to do different things. The only thing we could agree on was that zombies were cool. And so we kind of just winged it. At one point I said that I wanted to have a scene in the bathroom because it would be funny. Judging on your reaction, you and I both know that it's not. But we did it. And get this, it was essential to the lore. That's how we discovered how the zombies were being made. I think it was a factory, I don't know. Anyways, I died. I die in the movie, not because we wrote it that way, but because I couldn't run fast enough. There was a scene where we were running, and the idea is that we were going to outrun the zombies and all survive. I was not athletic. I am not athletic, and I do not talk about Fight Club. So they caught me, and they couldn't just be like, we'll let you go with a pass this time. Though that would make 28 Days Later way cooler if there was just a chill zombie. Dude, you know what? We'll let you keep going. We want you to make it to the end. So, but I didn't want to die. I was really bitter about the fact that like I was the only one that died. Even though looking back on it, I would be like, can I die like in the first scene? But the way we resolved it was, I'm not really dead, just unconscious. And the entire time the rest of the movie is playing out, this one zombie is just dragging me by the leg. Foolproof. So we shot that. We shot it like in the middle school parking lot. By the way, I don't know if we had a counselor with us. I hope we did, but we didn't. That's not true. They were probably filming. I hope. Otherwise, who filmed it? I'm doing great. But we filmed that scene, and then we filmed one final scene where we're all dancing in front of the zombies in the doorway, and that was the end of it. And we put one of those like royalty-free party songs on there. This is back when iMovie only had Kevin MacLeod music, which, by the way, go to his This Is playlist on Spotify and just listen to it. It's awesome. There's straight up jazz in there. He could like genuinely be a talented instrumentalist. But he's a sneaky snitch. Ask Levi. He didn't get it. You want me to explain it? He has a song called Sneaky Snitch. You can't say anything these days. All right. That was the movie that I made in middle school. Other things I made in middle school, mistakes. We had this game in middle school. It was called Prodigy. It was a math game that you would play. I see some Levi recoiled at that one. I think you made some mistakes too, man. The mistake I made was not math related. I was pretty good at math in middle school. Can you believe I didn't have any friends in elementary school? Okay, yeah, you can. So what I did was there were these two girls that sat in front of me. Wasn't friends with them. And I had a really silly idea. What if in the game it was online, so you were able to like make a class and then you could walk around with other people in your class. So what I decided to do is just follow them around and say ominous things. Now, they didn't have like an open chat, but they did have like a chat where you could like say like different sentences through templates. But my favorite thing, and this is still really funny to me, is they had like the most specific items in the game, and you could just say those. So these girls were being followed around by some guy named Eric Windeyes, because they didn't have my name in their auto-generated names list. So I was like, I'm my dad now. And Windeyes? That's just counterintuitive. It's not supposed to go in there. So a random dude they think they don't know is following them around, and so they're using the auto chat to ask like, who are you? And my response is like, Division Sword 800. What? Yes. What? Excelsior. They told the teacher, apparently the division sword was a bit too far. And I had to be escorted out into the hallway to talk about cybersecurity. Because I followed someone around and talked about swords. Not even talked about, said sword. This is the equivalent. Hey Levi, sword. That's what it was. But I got talked to about cybersecurity, and I was like, man, I did the worst crime ever. There's no other bad crimes. Just division sword. Oh man, we're moving up in the world. We're moving to junior high, everybody. This was rough, because junior high, for me, and many people in this room, was during COVID. And you know what that means? This is where the depression symptoms started. You guys are sad.
I know.
Go to therapy.
I am.
No.
I am. What do you mean, no?
I don't have a good response to that one. Can you just leave? All right, junior high. This one was interesting. The junior high is weird because, I feel like it always just finished construction on something. I don't know what it is. Whenever I go there, they're like, hey, we finished construction. Never see anyone working on anything there. I fully believe they're building Legos in the back, and they're just giving themselves pats on the back. Yeah, these lights are real. Crazy. But yeah, they finished, they did do some genuine construction. I think they made an entirely new floor, which I was not aware of at the time how long it takes to make a new floor. So I went there, I was like, man, this sucks. It's still a school. At least make it cool. That was when I took computer classes, more specific computer classes rather than just typing on an exercise ball with a sock on your hand. How is that supposed to help me type? Here, quick, limit your mobility. Also, in that same typing class, someone told me that I could type an essay in 5 minutes, and I went, yeah. No, I couldn't. What was I talking about? I was bald back then. That's not relevant, but I think it's important to note that I only got buzz cuts in middle school. It was the only haircut I knew, and my parents wouldn't tell me any others. I didn't ask, but they still wouldn't tell me. They were still like, hey, you don't have to go bald every time. You can get a mohawk. And so I got a mohawk. Didn't look good. I got one. I'm thinking of switching back to that. What do you guys think? Yeah! I'll be right back. I have one back there. But yeah, the computer class is pretty cool because the computer teacher, not many people know this. He lives right there. We could go visit him right now. Everybody, follow me. But he lives down there, and one thing that everyone really wanted to stress to me is how much that Mr. Crackermeyer, that was his name, I was his favorite kid. And no matter what, he would always say, no, I don't have favorites. Yes, I do. Don't tell anyone. Everyone told me. And I thought I was pretty cool. The least cool thing you can do is be cool to a teacher. Just so you know. Maybe not in high school, because in high school, you're as old as some of the teachers there. But in junior high, if a teacher likes you, oh man, you're gonna be wishing for a global pandemic. I remember when it first started, and everyone was like, oh my god, 2 extra weeks of spring break. Oh my god, 2 extra years of misery. Let's go. I didn't have anything else going on. I wasn't that happy. I haven't heard my mom go, "Aw." yet. I showed her the diagnoses joke, and she did that. I was like, these are my diagnoses, right? I'm not saying this to, like, my client. You seem a lot older to me. All right. Fine. You get up here. It's fine, guys. I bounce back. COVID. So, it was really weird. Don't know if you realized it's not normal. You remember the start of it when everyone thought toilet paper would be obsolete? Remember that? Never got that. Why is toilet paper the thing you're worried about? Oh man. I mean, there's a lot of germs flying around, We need to wear like our mask and stuff like that. How am I gonna clean my butt? That's what I want to start with. That's the body part that people interact with the most on me. Most common body part. If you go up to someone and say name a body part, they'll say butt instantly. The sample test was with like first graders, but it's still true. That was funny. The other funny stuff was being anti-mask. It looked cool. Yeah, sure, it was safe or whatever, but I gotta wear buffalo plaid on my face. How often is your face buffalo plaid? Maybe more often. I don't know what you guys get up to. But I thought it was really funny, some of the excuses that you can't breathe in it. Yeah, that's kind of the point. It's a respiratory disease. You don't want to inhale it. That's why it's blocking this part. It's a government lie. Why would the government lie about that? They have to lie about the people they kill, not kill more of them. Only the important ones. They don't care about us, they care about Pope Francis. She didn't go, "Aw," but she did make the face of someone about to go, "Aw." She knew Pope Francis personally. She gave the Pope Undertale. That one was exclusively for people under 30. So, yeah, there was that weird government plot thing. There was people saying that Bill Gates made this so he could put microchips in a vaccine that everyone had to get. Those same people support Elon Musk. He wants to do that to your brain, and he's pretty open about it. His brain, I mean. Well, whatever's left of it. After wearing like that Wisconsin cheese head, I think it like cut off circulation up there. It was way too tight on him. That's the only thing I could focus on. I don't care about how cringe he's being. I care about his safety, okay? The more unsafe he is, the better it is for me. I got applause for that one. That's fun. Here's more people I think should die. I never actually finished a full year at the junior high, like physically being present, because the first one, everyone had to go away. The second year, 8th grade, there was an option for distance learning, and I was excited to take it because I hated going to school. Little did I realize that I was about to have the worst experience of my life. So the way the system worked is, first of all, it was very monotonous. You had your main 4 classes in this weird website. And by the way, the website that they gave to the elementary schoolers was very concerning. They had a video on like the alphabet, and this is real. The video had the letter G, and they said G is for gun. And they pulled out a gun. That's actually kind of sick. Can there be more weaponry-based curriculums in school? Yeah. Welcome back to the violent comedy hour, I guess. It's the only thing I'm getting responses from. This is how Joe Rogan was made. Mr. Bromer loves Joe Rogan. He's a teacher I had in the high school. He's bald, And I think all bald people that like live in the Midwest have to love Joe Rogan. I don't know what it is. I think it's just someone they can finally relate to. An insane bald man. He kept stacks of protein powder behind his desk. Like stacks. And he had, this is the best part, a full cutout, life size of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson handing you a can of Zoa. Very clearly like stolen from a marketing campaign. Like you took that from like the back of an Applebee's. And he has it. It's still there. Anyway, back to junior high. Getting ahead of myself. I thought about bald people. Do that a lot. You liked that one, didn't you, Karen? The more I mentioned bald people. Got it. So I was bald the other day. So distance learning, the way it was, you had 4 curriculums, and it was math, reading, I think language arts, and history, or science. At one point it was history, at another point it was science. It was really weird. It just changed one day, and I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this now. But the way it worked is they had this little progress bar, where if you were in the green, you were all good. Like, you're up to date on everything, you're gonna finish on time. If you were in the yellow, you're like, you might have like one missing assignment, or you might be like running a bit behind. And if you were in the red, that means you have to catch up now. And so this kind of scared me. But the scariest part was one, for some reason, the program decided to hate me. Because the way it worked is that you would go through the full curriculum, you would go through all of the assignments, and then at the end, you'd have to take a 10-question test. But the stipulation was that you couldn't move on to the next unit until you completed that test. And you only got one free retry, and for every other one, you had to have a Zoom meeting with the person that ran the program, explaining why you got everything wrong before they would give you a redo. So on a particular science test, I failed. Okay. Emailed for a redo. Got it. I fail again. But I changed up my answers, and there are some that I know are right. So in the Zoom meeting, she pulls up my test. She goes over the answers. She goes over the first question, what I answered, and then I have to interject and go, hey, that's not what I answered. It put in the wrong answers for me. I would answer one way, and then the program would say I answered this way. And so I failed this test for, I think, like a week, beyond my control. I was back about maybe 3 units in science. The best part is that, completely not my fault, nothing I could do. They didn't fix that part. They just let me be entirely in the red in science. And so my genius brain, thinking very hard and very fast, goes, I'm just gonna do it like normal. Because at some point, I'll catch up, and then on the last day, I can just do all of the rest. I work a similar way now, but at least I'm not in the junior high. It didn't work. Surprise, surprise. I ended up getting in the red in all of my classes. I remember my mom coming home from wherever she went. I don't know where she went in the mornings. I can't remember. She went somewhere. And she came back and was like, hey, why are you red in all of your classes? Oops. I think that's what I said. My honest answer was, oops. So you know, like, when you have a child brain and you get, like, mad at your parents for being, like, completely reasonable, but you're a child. And so it's like, I'm gonna spite them by bettering myself. One time I was upset at my parents, so I cleaned the house. And it worked. At one point I was cleaning and my dad turns and goes, hey, stop it. Okay. I'll remember that one. But I decided what I'm going to do is just spend the whole day getting caught up on all of my classes. That'll show ya. Sure taught you. Now I'm not behind anymore. So there's one crucial piece of information about this program that I've been leaving out because up until this point, I didn't know it either. But I catch up, I go to sign out for the day. I finally did it, and I realize that on the side of the assignment is the day that you are supposed to do it. So in other words, I could have just been doing it by the day. I could have avoided this whole thing had I just caught up on science and did like 2 things each day. So I vowed to never go to school again. Then I went to school again. I went to high school. Yeah, that's about as much as it deserves. 1 small clap. Pretty sure it was my parents. They didn't say it was. Maybe they hate high school too. They were there a lot, it was weird. They weren't, I'm lying. I tend to do that a lot. Just smiling at Kieran. Freshman year, I, for a week straight, told them that I was going to eat a glow stick. And I think by the end of the week, they believed me and were concerned.
It was 30 minutes in.
It used to be so easy. Now I can't tell you, like, the truth anymore. I committed to the bit too hard. But, high school was really interesting. The way the high school is built, there is a giant pit in the middle of the front, like the main area. It's called the forum. And there's just a giant circle that goes down, and there's a giant letter N in the middle of it. And there's a dome skylight. Other high schools have, like, planetariums. But have you seen our dome skylight? Also, our cafeteria had 4 little squares of skylight that I forgot existed until the day before my last day of high school ever when the power went out. And I saw that, I was like, huh, didn't know that. Don't care, but it's cool to know, I guess. I've had a lot of kooky teachers. I mentioned Mr. Bromer. He also loves Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger gave a speech, a commencement speech, where he gave a list of his rules that he follows in life. And he has those rules printed out and hung up on the wall behind him, which is awesome. Also, this year I took his investigative history class, which is very cool. It's a conspiracy theory class, which would already be cool. But he gets into it, dude. I think at one point he said that there was like 4 people that killed JFK. One point he said Fidel Castro did it. How? Did the bullets come from Cuba? He just fired it around the world? I think at one point he posited the theory that JFK did it himself. Which is awesome. I like to imagine that. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask how you can take your own life. And make it look like an assassin. What would he gain out of that? Personally, I think a bullet did it, but you know, everyone has their own theories. There was a couple of units. We did a bunch of cults recently. We watched a mini-series on Waco. That was pretty cool. The ending was insane. I don't think the principals watched anything he showed us all the way through. They watched the first 5 minutes, and if there wasn't any swearing or blood, they were like, we'll call it good here. That's it. There was a fire in the mini-series, and they showed people crying for their life and dying because they're getting tear gassed. And I had to go to mythology and science fiction after that. So I was sitting in that class just what did we do as a society? I'm supposed to be talking about like Sisyphus or something, which is similar actually. That works. One must imagine Sisyphus rolling a boulder up a hill, because that's what he did. Don't know if you know that. Oh, there it goes. Okay, we'll check on him in a second. There was a couple of other teachers. We had Miss Thompson, the French teacher. She was really cool because you could derail that class pretty easily, especially in French 4. Because in French 4, like you've done all the French, you've learned all the stuff. Really, all you're doing is just learning some other basic vocab. So like in second semester, when like really all you're doing is like reading The Little Prince, which is incredibly short. Like halfway through the class period, you can ask, "Can we do the Wordle?" And she'll be like, "Yeah," which was pretty epic. There's a French Wordle. We did that one. We never got it. Miss Thompson got it, and it was like, "Good job, you guys, you did it." It's pretty epic. I wish you did that with like my grade book. Dude, you got 100. That was insane. I did all of it. Miss Thompson was pretty cool. She had a thing called crepe days. End of the year, every day, you would get a crepe. Just one. Unless you were in French 4, and then you would get like 3. It was your last day ever. And so she was just like, "I'm just gonna keep making crepes. Just keep grabbing them, please." Also, we finished the Little Prince movie, and so we got to hijack her Amazon Prime account, and we watched a little bit of Beast Games. Which is pretty cool. For those who don't know, Beast Games is a game show made by famous YouTuber and oversaturated smiling model Mr. Beast, where he exploits poor people for profit. All right. But yeah, that was Miss Thompson. We had freshman year, Mr. Aldrich, another bald guy, but he was cooler.
He was not bald by choice, though.
He was not bald by choice. He was bald by happenstance. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and all of his hair disappeared. It was gone. It's time to go to the Sisyphus corner. Where are you at? Oh, it happened again? What? All right, you'll get up there someday. I lost my train of thought. Was it worth it? Kinda. Mr. Aldrich. This was very fun. We did like a tier list of presidents at one point, and he joined in. He was like, "Dude, Washington's F tier." Dude, Washington, no, don't even talk to me about Washington. That was pretty epic. He would be down for any of me and Kieran's shenanigans, including trying to sneak a picture of Idris Elba into every single one of our presentations. Which started because we had a slide on the first presentation that we did in class that was just pictures of Idris Elba. It was like 40. It like lagged out the entire slide. When you got there, it was just gray, and they slowly faded in one by one. We got a 100. That was fun. We had Mr. Bowen, too.
No!
I loved him. I had a controversial opinion of loving Mr. Bowen. He was the geometry teacher, freshman geometry. He taught that. He did something very interesting where he would have Fridays, he would do Friday motivation. And what that was is he would unironically show you one of those weird motivational videos every morning at the start of class. It was awesome. They were like, I'm pretty sure I saw the entirety of the Joker in that class just through Friday motivation. At one point, one of the videos implied that you can keep going even if you lose both of your kidneys. That's just anatomically inaccurate. I would know, I don't have either of them. But I had an extra. Thanks, Ian. Let's see, I'm running down I'm just running through the list of teachers that I have. I had a lot of interesting ones. You know, we had Mr. Wetterberg was the first teacher I had. He was a bald guy. You're not gonna believe it. He was a bald guy and he drank vinegar. He had like his own special day where if you were in his ELO on that day, You got to drink vinegar with him. I didn't go. I was good on that. It was my freshman year when I met him. That was the first teacher I had. And I kind of was under the impression that all of the teachers had their own days and their own like weird little things that they drank because of him. I think that would have been cool, although Mr. Brower would have had us drink like creatine. We would have been yoked. That would have been sick. We would have been yoked and bald. High school was pretty fun. I did theater all of high school. I did lights for most of my time there. I did acting once. I got an ensemble role that didn't exist in the script, and so they added it in, and I had to dance to Holding Out for a Hero. I still remember the dance, so or most of it, so I'm gonna walk through it. You go out, and they said, do your superhero pose. They gave all of like the main superheroes their like own pose. They didn't give that to the ensemble members, so I did this. Although some other candidates, the Nixon, and the what are you doing here? Those were good. And the Jake from State Farm, of course, but I didn't have time to change. I'm caught on the lights. So I was taking a walk the other day. It worked. I did it. So yeah, I did. So the other part of the dance moves were, oh god, it's been a while. I remember at some point we had to do the Andy Kaufman this thing that he did for like 8 minutes straight on SNL at one point. We had to fake running, which was very fun, especially when you're behind someone. I was behind you, Bree, and this was the view that I got. God, stop. Imagine that, but like 2 times smaller. That's what it was like. At one point, this was my favorite part of it. There was like the part where it says rising with the heat. The dance move for that was this. What do you mean rising with the heat? That's not what I do when something's hot. Whoa! I'm not Bugs Bunny. If anything, I look more like Yosemite Sam. Alright? Let's be real. So that was fun. That was my only acting role. I got like a little mask painted on my face. I have a picture of me trying to get it off, and it looks like someone just tried to cut my eyes out. Because my mask was red, so it looks like they had to stitch on the top half of my face. It was crazy. It's a fun image. There's kids in the audience. I bet they loved that one. They're gonna love that one at bedtime. Kids out there tonight, imagine that happening to you. Imagine you having to do an embarrassing dance move, I meant. Don't look down, Mom. It's fine. Everything is fine. I didn't show my parents any of my set. They're hearing this for the first time, so I bet they're having a great time, but are also so nervous. Our family friends are here. Get it together. Some other theater highlights include the lights booth was always very fun. It was made of cement. It was a cement box that you were like locked in there for most of the day, unless you were in the spot booths. The spot booths were awesome. So the main lights booth, that was a cement box. The spot booths had carpet. It had like the actual like cool ceiling. It had like a dimmer switch, and it had a storage room that sometimes would have a mattress in it. One year it disappeared, and then I checked again, and it's back now. So thanks for returning it, Ray. I really appreciate it. Anytime? We've graduated.
Well, no, I'm keeping it.
Oh, okay. So can I have it back?
You have to rent it from me. You have to rent it.
It was my mattress. My bed isn't there anymore. And Gordon isn't. Give him back too. That's my cat, for those who don't know. If you haven't seen him, then he's doing a good job. He doesn't want to see you either. The bus rides to like one-act competitions were very fun because I think everyone was kind of delirious at both times. Because bus rides were like early in the morning most of the time. You would ride over, then you would have to lock in for your competition. And then afterwards, it would be late at night and you just had to like do a show. And so you were just gone. You were zonked out. I was looking at, me and Ian have this app called Locket. I was looking through some of the Lockets that we posted after we lost state my senior year. One of them was an image of Ian in a dark bus with no lighting, and the caption was, "It's Mr. Fart." I don't know what that means, but that's awesome.
I don't know either.
Another one is kind of existential. Again, same bus ride, completely dark. It just said, thanks for preheating the oven. It just said, why? There were also some good ones on my part after we won the Tech Award for one of the competitions this year. My Locket post was just one a mound of dirt. And Ian's, I think, was just a bunch of random letters. I can't remember. One of my favorites, though, came from spring play season. This spring play season. We were testing out the movers, and we turned on fast movement, strobe effect, different colors, and Ian decided to take a video of that happening to me. And Locket did something very weird where it inserted an image of Ian smiling like this. And also the lighting was completely normal for that image. And so the first second of it is him just smiling, and then it's me doing this while getting blasted with color, making it look like Ian is just absolutely casting a spell on me. He has cursed me with like 1,000 rainbows. I don't know. It was daunting. I can't read that.
I was just helping with the time, sorry.
Oh, okay. I think I'm almost done. All right, I'll leave you with some advice. In the guest book up there, you get to leave advice from me, and so I'll leave you with some advice. High school was rough for me at certain points. If you knew me close, you knew that. And the thing that got me through it was was turning off the microphone. It was doing stupid bits, like Mr. Fart. Or people when colors are invented. And so I think, at the end of the day, this was like just high school. And I know because we were like in high school, it was the most serious thing in the world. And there's a lot of people that we have a lot of perceptions of. But it was 4 years, and most of those people we're never gonna see again. So, I think that we should just stop taking it so seriously. Because the mistake I made was caring about everything way too much. Mr. Fart made me cry. Just kidding. That one was, what one was that one? There was one that made me cry. It might have been Surprise High Power X-Ray. Whatever, it doesn't matter. That's one piece of advice. Couple more. Don't talk about Fight Club. Keep calm and gamer on. And there's Raising Cane's in the room over there. Thank you very much, everybody.